we've heard that at one point, at the last draft, it was like, well, we're not really going to do, or the draft before last, we're not really going to do the on-screen GMs anymore. And somehow since then, we've ended up with Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce, both being in charge of both shows. Exquisite performers. I love both of them. There's no reason for both of them to be on both shows. It kind of takes away the competition when you've got two people, but they're involved in both shows. And it's like, on Monday, Survivor Series is coming up. They want to make sure the Raw team is real good. And then on Fridays, Survivor Series is coming up. They want to make sure the SmackDown team's real good. And it's like, all right. If you want to have that competition exist at all, even if it goes unsaid, I feel like separate people. When you look at who you've got, right? We had Eric Bischoff on TV on Monday, which it's never going to be a bad time seeing Eric Bischoff. I loved seeing Eric Bischoff officiate that Miz ceremony. Love when Eric Bischoff's on my TV. But when you talk about the greatest on-screen authority figures post Vince McMahon ever, nobody beats Mr. McMahon. He's like the Wiz. Nobody beats him. When you talk the GM era, I mean, Commissioner Foley was great. GM Mick Foley, I love me some Mick Foley. I don't know if GM Mick Foley is for me. Commissioner Mick Foley was great. The best ever are Eric Bischoff and William Regal. And it's 1A, 1B. Depending on what mood you catch me in a given day, one is going to go above the other. But William Regal is as good of an on-screen authority figure when in his GM era. He's great on NXT when he's like tough but fair. The Mr. Regal era works too. But there's just something. Regal commands a certain respect. And there's an acknowledgement of the industry that exists, that he's deserving of this respect. Nobody says anything bad about William Regal. Ever. He's a man. Such a man. He's a man, a real man's man. This is the type of guy you want to be in charge of your show. Who else is like that? Who else commands a respect in any room that he's in? Who else has the respect and is kind of known to have the respect of all of his industry peers? Who else has excelled at literally every aspect of the professional wrestling business that he has been put into, every job that he's been put into? Whether the job is to wrestle, whether the job is to cut a promo, whether the job is to do color commentary, only does well, whether it's in a 6-sided ring or a 4-sided ring or a ring of honor. Only does well. Samoa Joe. I'm saying right now, if you took William Regal and put him in charge of Raw, and Samoa Joe and put him in charge of SmackDown, on screen, not creative, not behind the scenes, we're not breaking kayfabes. William Regal as the on-screen authority figure of Raw, Samoa Joe as the on-screen authority figure of SmackDown. Adam Pearce as the on-screen assistant to Samoa Joe that's there to do his bidding and do his work for him, do the bad news guy. Every corporate guy needs a bad news guy. And Sonya Deville, who's the assistant to William Regal on Raw, who's a little bit more conniving, a little bit more trying to get her own way, a little bit more trying to take advantage of William Regal. Maybe when William Regal's not looking, she's out there in business for herself, more so than Adam Pearce would be with Joe. So you actually have a difference. You actually have two different people in charge of the show that have a different dynamic with their assistant. It's not just the same thing twice. That is so money to me. William Regal runs Raw, Samoa Joe runs SmackDown. They each have an assistant. That way you keep Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville on TV. What's not to like about that? How do you not do that? Why would you not do that? I mean, it's just creates story. You have two guys, and both of those guys, neither one of them would be a heel. Neither one of them would have ulterior motives. They'd just be the authority figure, but they would command respect. How do you not? Both of those guys you could picture going into a meeting with Vince McMahon or Mr. McMahon on TV and not cowering, standing up for themselves. It's a whole new GM. They're not wormy. Sonya Deville's a little wormy. She's William Regal's assistant on Raw. Adam Pearce is there just to, lay down Samoa Joe's law, but when they're not listening to Adam Pearce, trust me, you don't want to wake up the bear from his cage. That's the dynamic over there. How do you not want to see Roman Reigns have to deal with Samoa Joe in charge of SmackDown? I'm not saying if Samoa Joe can never wrestle again, fine. We never get our Samoa Joe Roman Reigns match in that. Obviously, we've had him before, but in that dynamic, fine. Doesn't have to lead to a match. It's just Roman Reigns has been pushing around Adam Pearce. And the WWE realizes that that is not best for business. You cannot have one of the superstars not taking the authority of the man in charge seriously. So, what are they going to do? Maybe it's Adam Pearce's fault. Maybe he should have stood up for himself more. So we're going to bring in a new authority. We're going to bring in a new GM that is going to work over Adam Pearce. Adam Pearce is going to stick around. He's going to work for this person, ladies and gentlemen, Samoa Joe. Here comes Samoa Joe with that music playing and everything, all business, right in Roman Reigns' face. Roman Reigns can't take advantage of Samoa Joe. Come on. Do I got to tell you this? William Regal over here having to try to deal with Brock Lesnar on Raw. Letting Seth Rollins know that he better be respectful or there's going to be consequences. I'll stretch you. I'm going to stretch you. Come on. Do I got to tell you this?